Hi everybody, welcome back to another MagiNation box break video. This time, got ourselves a box of Gloamlight. This is technically the second of the reprint sets that features our good friends from the core underneath, and Bograth, however you want to say it. I can't judge you on that one since I've never heard it out loud, but it makes sense to me that it would be Bograth because it is swamps and bogs. But we'll be cracking this baby open, and I got a new camera, so it should look a heck of a lot better. Now let's go ahead and jump on in. Remember everyone, it's important, oops, save your packaging for the Animite so that you can trade it in for promos and store credit and all that kind of stuff. Always liked that aspect of the game. Just not like, I guess it encourages you to hoard all of your trash if you don't cut them out of the boxes, but you know, at least it's kind of like getting a little bit of a rebate back. Let's see here. So last time we did Wildlands, which had the lush regions, I guess you could call them, of Weave, Paradwin, and Naroon. I don't want to fold this in. There we go, make it look nice. So this time we've got the darker regions. And there are definitely some cards in here that I would love to open. So let's get cracking. Hopefully you get that good ASMR on the booster opening. I need to make sure that I'm not opening these and that I ruin the Animite. Where is it? Oh, okay, yeah. Didn't do that. Good stuff. Alright. We should actually be able to see stuff now. Alright, from the top, it's upside down. Come on. Yeah, look at that. It's a little dark. Troll bracelet. Art is a little dark on those. A Gwag. Like these guys. Dual region, which has become somewhat controversial in the new age of design. At least for Magi. I don't think people have as much of a problem with dual region creatures and spells and whatnot. Ah, it looks so sharp. Just so happy. It's just so great to be able to open MagiNation cards in the year 2026. There's something like timeless about the art too. Like it holds up and is still nostalgic. Like it doesn't feel dated to me. But it is still very much like uniquely MagiNation, right? Ooh, Crushing Will. Always nice to have a copy of the crushing spells for all your decks. And so our first rare's out. Corganzet. It's nice. Never had these guys. They were from Awakening, so I just never really opened a whole bunch of Awakening. Put them here. Our other rare is Giant Parmalag. Woohoo! Parmalag, of course, being one of the creature types that is getting a new entry in Daybreak, the as of yet unreleased set that is kind of in pseudo playtesting right now. The current designers are going through their process. Ooh, one's really dark too. I wonder why it's just Bograth though. It seems that way. Maybe it's the light in here. Let's see if it's closer to the white of the screen. It's still pretty dark. I'll have to go pull a regular one or an old one and see how different it is. But yeah, we are getting a nice inside look at the process behind the designs in Daybreak, since it was kind of a first draft of it was done before the game collapsed. Ooh, I really do like the Agovo art really pops on the new contrast. Super shiny. But yeah, so Daybreak was in development but had not been play tested when the game exploded. So we have much more, or the new design team feels like they have much more leeway to make changes to it. Nice, an Alabra. One of my favorite Bograth Magi. I'm glad we have her. Because the Daybreak set was designed under some faulty premises. Got the animite on that one. Was designed under some faulty premises, whereas they thought, the designers at the time thought that one of the regions, Kaibar's Teeth, was the best region and was like a better version of Underneath, which is simply not true. With the way this game is played, you just really can't rely on having a big creature stick around. Ooh, right, new cleansing art. Nice. You can't rely on having a big creature stick around, and that's kind of Kabar's Teeth's whole thing. So it just makes it's a tough region. This game is very hostile to creatures sticking around for more than a turn. You just can't assume it, even less so than in Magic, where sure, if a creature gets removed, that's like three core Magi in a row. I love it. Got a Haunt and a Underneath version of Dejarvis. Dejarvish. I think I have the Sands of Duresh version of him from the original printing. So yeah, the design team, with the eventual aim of releasing Daybreak fully, is working on shoring up some of the weaknesses of the regions that are currently underpowered. And they've come up with some cool ideas. I've kind of been workshopping the ideas myself, creating a custom set that kind of operates off of the same idea as these reprint sets, where there's 13 regions or colors for people who are coming from Magic. You just can't put them all in one set. It's not possible. Ooh, first foil, a Vard Stampede. See, now this one, the foiling makes it brighter. It helps it read better than the rest of the Bograth cards, but I like it. Oh, followed by its regular self. So yeah, I've been working on a set that would include 5 regions instead of 3, but with the idea that you can draft them like in Magic. Ooh, finally, good. First big hit. We got a Darkbreed Hyron. Very nice. Never had one of these. Ooh, and one of my favorite Underneath Magi, Emal. Love her. Fun art, fun effect. I have the original version of her. It was one of the only cards that I ever traded for back in what was the second revival, or the first revival of this game for me, which was playing on the Gaia Online forums, which probably dates me more than, well, I don't know. I'm not really shy about my age, but I was a little youngin' when this game first came out, and kind of got to have a mini renaissance with it in the late thousands. Mid-thousands? Mid-aughts? Man, I don't even know. Corathan trying to sneak in there. We gotta look at Resonate first. Ebony Mirror. The Great Mushroom Throne. Woohoo. And for as much Nightmare's Dawn that I was able to get as a kid, I have so few functional Bograth cards. Like, I don't think I could build a Bograth deck without what's going on. Nice. So Agram's Plaything is a neat little one. This is kind of what, where is it? Core gets to play in this space a little bit more often now with stuff that either becomes a creature from being a relic or becomes a relic after being a creature. So, neat stuff. We got a very trendy looking Hiron. Love the look of these guys. There was just a question on the Discord today asking everybody what their favorite Hiron is for looks, and then their favorite Hiron to play in the game. And I'll see if I can go grab one. I don't know if it's readily available, but said my favorite Hiron aesthetically is Grass Hiron because it has all of the pillars of design that to me make a Hiron, with its very angular features and the very like iconic head shape. So I was trying to think, it was hard to answer ones that I actually like to play. Because the problem with Hiron, at least for me as a primary Gnar player, is that Gnar's Hiron aren't very good, and they're all quite large in terms of energy cost. So when they get removed, you're typically getting blown out. Piter. I don't think I've ever seen one of these. When you play a creature, remove energy from Piter to pay the cost. All of your Bograth creatures cost 1 less energy. Oh, neat. Ah, okay. So he will pay the summoning costs for you. But again, if he gets targeted, so you kind of have to play him and then take advantage of his discount ability right off the bat, or else you are setting yourself up for sadness. I have the new Lanix. Lanix is always one of my favorite Shadow Magi. Him and Chur, which I get probably no doubt in part to the fact that I just had copies of Chur. Oh, almost right through the animate again. I gotta be careful. I think Chur is one of my only original Dream's End rares that I have left. Well, Gremble, like these guys. Glabbit. It's hard to tell. This one we've got a little bit of like kind of blurry text. It's not super noticeable, but I guess next to other cards, like here next to this Dark Eyeball, you can definitely tell that the text is just a little, it's almost like it's bold, not really blurry, but like it was stamped twice, just slightly offset. Ooh, I love Coil. Love this guy. Dark Portents. I had a core deck that was trying to make Dark Portents do anything fun. Fun fact, it didn't work. Hey, Tomorrow's Jewel. Great little card. Big fan of this one. Ah, first crushing spell outside of Crushing Will. Nice. Agram's Staff is a nice little component for Shadow Magi decks trying to play their original regions. Hey, we got a Gorger. He's so round. The Zung Swarm. Zung is a fun word to say. It is interesting that Zung is a dual region creature, but the swarm of them is Bograth specific. Although it wants you to have core anyway, so interesting little regions. The Bograth and core are very tied to each other. Here's another very dark art. Quiddo Swarm. I was always sad because I like to play this guy in Paradwin, but I didn't have any of the Paradwin borders of it, and I had to play the Bograth ones, and just made me sad. How bright it is! I love it. Ghost Wisp, or what did they call this guy in the video game? He has a different name. Man, I don't remember, because I know Tusk Wisp was called a Jor or something. Ooh, here we go. Foil rare. Got ourselves a Pillar Hyren. Very nice. Just put that guy right on in there. It's interesting where the foil is in the packs. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, or it's been a while since I opened the first box to see like where the foils were. Hey, this is one of the cards I was hoping to hit. Actually ended up trading my original one off to get a copy of some Rage's bands. Belts, so that I could actually have some staples to play this game. Nice. Thunderquake. A classic damage dealing spell. A little bit of a discussion about whether or not it is too easily splashable, but I think it's pretty rough if you're not in underneath or otherwise reducing its cost somehow. It's tough to be fully happy with a cast of Thunderquake when you probably could have just cast Shockwave. Trollbull. It's a good name. Umbu. See, I will hand it to Bograth. They have the best names in the game. Treepsh. It's just fun to say. Maelstrom. Lil Parmalag. Everybody's favorite little guy. Pylofuff. Or, as it is known in the video game, Porky Slime. Here's the Moob, eating the statement of core values. A callback to some of the very prominent misprints from that set, Nightmare's Dawn. Shadow Bones. A Radget. I did not have her before. Very nice. I like trying to play like tribal cards in this set or in this game. Again, it's rough to play a creature-full deck, but we're here for it. I do think, let's see if we can. I think the cards, these ones feel, well, just kind of looking at the edges here. I think the light actually makes it look worse. It looks better to me in person. Is that a little, let's see. Yeah, I think they look better a little bit than the first box, but I still don't have too much of a problem with, gosh, very good joke. It's a very good joke. I do love the references and the callbacks in this game. And again, something that just doesn't feel forced, like if Magic were to do this. Like if Magic were to have a another Princess Bride set, like of course there would be an ROUS in it, right? Like they can't help themselves. But it would just feel, I don't know, it just, to me, it would feel forced. Like this game gets away with a lot of different references to a lot of different properties in its flavor text, and it doesn't feel like it's hitting you on the head with them. It's more of a if you know, you know sort of thing, which to me is a lot more of an enjoyable way to do references and stuff. We do know that the next sets, or the next regions to get their box, should the funding threshold be cleared. I have been putting all the Magi down there, okay. Are going to be Gnar and Ardirial and Dresh, I think. So, super happy about that. I love Gnar and I love Dresh. Here's Ulk, one of my favorites. underneath Magi. Always nice to have another copy. We're also just talking on the Discord about how, like what's rarer, something from the starter decks that have the Moonland Heroes sign and no dot, or something out of the boxes. And I think now, let me see it. We decided that rares are different, but all the rest of them are, like commons and uncommons, are more common. Let's see. Pull it up real fast here. For rares that exist in each deck like Magi, there are 600 more deck copies of that card in the wild than booster copies. So that's wow, they made a lot of the Kickstarter decks, which is great. We want the decks to be able to be out there and to get into people's hands so you can play the game. Hey, our next foil, a foil Quiddo Swarm to go with my original foil Quiddo Swarm. Very nice. Dink. Dark Eyeball. Crushing Dart. We still haven't gotten a Crushing Fungus. Micah, another one of my favorite underneath Magi. She's just really, really thick. Hard to get through. Another Hiren. We got the Nightmare Hiren. Ooh, spooky. New art for Amulet of Ombor. Very nice. Finally has the text that is granted to it by Gate to Ombor. Alright. Make in progress. So, boink. Daggok. Don't look at the light. The Weebo. Crystal Arbol. It's fun seeing the ones that were, like base set, original unlimited, whose, templating and text was kind of all over the place. And it's nice to have, what do we call it, MRPs, most recent printings of these cards. It's nice to get them all down. I know there've been, or add stuff like, Magi where they've been added as starting cards. It's always nice. Well, I guess that would have been there, huh? On the original. Yeah, I think that was there. I don't know. I don't know that I ever had a copy of Hidden Door. Tunneler's Boots. Yeah, Burrowed. I forget. Is Tunnel Hiren in this set? Surely it is. It's one of the iconic underneath Hiren. I feel like there were a lot more universal cards in the first box. I hope I remember opening a lot more of those guys. Glabbits. Gumph. Shadow Drite. Crystal Hiren. It's also nice that, for the most part, Hiren are rare. It is nice to see some at common. They don't have the well, I guess they are kind of rarity biased, like, the iconic creatures for magic colors, like, angels and dragons and whatnot, tend to only be at rare or above. Ooh, nice. How does Zet? Very nice. Love this little gremlin. Ooh, and a Gragling. Nice. Alright, so we've got Korg and Zet, and we've got Zet. Is Korg in here? I don't remember. And the idea of these sets was to reprint kind of the staples, or at least as many of the staples for these regions as possible, while also including all of the new cards that were in Trader's Reach. So if you didn't buy, or if you didn't pick up a set of the starter decks, you can still get the Trader's Reach cards this way out of the boxes. Hey, finally, second Tomorrow's Jewel. Was it always a common? I could have sworn the original was uncommon. But good, it needs to be common. Nice, we got a hard Night Stalker. Very good. Another Radget. Hubrum. Daedrite Fiend. Little terrorizer in the Game Boy game. Let's see. Been really wanting to play the balanced hack of the Game Boy game, but you know, who has the time, right? I certainly don't have all that much spare time these days, especially with the little one. Trying to sneak this in here. It is 11:52 for me right now. He is currently sleeping in the next room, so hopefully it stays awake. I kind of want a foil Ghost Wisp just to see how shiny it can be. Crystal Parmalag. Oh, another foil. We have Tlok. It's hard to tell. I'm not crazy. It is foil. It's just not picking up on the camera real well. But yeah, it is foil. The Withertwee. This game makes you say things like in completely serious tone that are utterly absurd, like Weibo. Hey, finally, my original one can no longer be alone. A second striped Coret and a Phosphor Hyren. We are, if the experience with the Wildlands box is anything to go off of, we are relatively likely, I think, to get at least one of every rare in the set in a box, which is really nice for collectors. Really good art too. There's our Zungs. Treepsh. Maelstrom. Parmalag. Pylofuff. It does feel like I have fewer... Oh, there's a Slimestone. Very nice. Fewer underneath cards than anything else. Ancient's Puzzle Box. Hey, we were just talking about you. Thanks for showing up. It's so fluffy. I'm glad you're here. A Bog Wellisk. Straighten up our piles here a little bit, because we are not animals. Even though I fully recognize that it is savage of me to not sort these as I go. But that's something that I'm going to reserve for my me time. Because there are a few things more cathartic than sorting cards. And with Magic the way it is right now, I don't have a whole lot of need to sort Magic cards. So this will have to step in. Very interested in trying to make some sort of tribal deck work with Trolbs. Especially given that we got the new one for Kywar's Teeth, although I chose not to order any of that, guys, so I think I just have what comes in the deck. Taglat. Bolump. One of the few Bograth Magi I already had. Crowns of Grath. Urhale. Starting any underneath Magi. Oh, there's Korg. There's our boy. Korg, he's our boy. If he can't do it, great. That doesn't go there. Super clever. Korg cannot play relics. Super brave. When he has no energy, he's defeated, even if he has creatures in play. Doof. Alrighty. So we can start flipping through a little bit faster. Oh, no, because I got to sort them. I can't flip through any faster. Cleansing. Cave Rudwad. Bog Stench. Muck Shovel. Hey, our first heiress. Very nice. I'll focus. There you go. Nice. And always so weird to see her with the Bograth border. I'm so used to seeing her with Part 1. A Shadow Cloak. Oh, here's Jor. In the video game, that's a Tusk Wisp. Why? Who knows? I don't think we've gotten any duplicate rares just yet. I'd say we're about maybe a little bit over halfway through the box. Venomous Quartz are a scary little guy. Ooh, a foil rare though. We'll take a foil Agram's Plaything. Very nice. Ooh, regular Gile. Nice. The classic Digging Goggles. Oop. See, it's a Gia pet. Gia. Black stuff. Oh yeah, so back to the custom set I'm working on. Called it MagiNation Outlands, and it features Kybar's Teeth, the aforementioned region that is considered one of the weakest in the game. Let's see, it's Kybar's Teeth, Bograth, Gnar, Ardirial, and Called. And so I'm kind of applying some modern magic ideas to it, where it has some uncommon gold cards, like dual region, and it has, actually I've put some common dual region cards in there as well. And it has a little bit different deck building rules than the regular game, just to make limited actually, doable with this game, because otherwise it's not really something that is super. Hey, finally we have a second one! Yay! Oh my god, it's a big mushroom. And it would tickle me pink to be able to play limited events with this game. Even if they're just online over Lackey or some other client like that, I am here for it. So I've been tinkering with a rule set that would let that be possible. And what I settled on was you still have to draft your Magi, but of the Magi that you have drafted over the course, you pick 2 of them and mush them together. You pick the starting energy of one, the energize of another, and you get all of their starting cards. All their text is considered. They're just considered to be a dual Magi, effectively. Yay! This was the other card I was really hoping to open. It's my girl, Speary, the one on the on my art commission, or rather, not Speary, the Fiend of Ferox. So yeah, you smush them together. You can still only retrieve. I think I said you can only retrieve 3 of your starting cards from among however many your combined Magi have. The Magi are considered dual region if they are both regions that you have drafted, and that way it lets you, play. There should at least be 10 draftable combinations within the set of decks that you can play. So, again, going off of the modern Magic sort of design philosophy, you're weaving in these different archetypes across each of the color pairs instead of trying to build a more strict design philosophy that adheres to the region itself. So I've only built out Kybar's Teeth so far, but that does include all of the gold cards. that go with it, so you can kind of at least get a taste of what each of the regional pairs that includes Kaibar's Teeth is up to. For the most part, it's new designs, although I do have some existing designs in there where, I think that they are classic enough or iconic enough to the region. Like, I think I'm gonna have every region's crushing spell in there, just because they are iconic to the region, and you can't really, it's not quite fair in this game to apply things like you might in Magic, like the color pie, where, like you wouldn't see a direct damage spell in blue anymore in Magic, but every color or every region here, this one's foil, has its bespoke direct damage spell. And they all just do something that region cares about if they discard the creature they hit. Hey, Swamp Iron, nice. Pulled one of these from one of the Nightmare's Dawn starters from Arcanist Armory. This demon shows up. Very interesting text. So, Tomes of the Great Library is considered to be, I think what they're calling is like a legendary relic, kind of like Gate to Ombor, and I forget what some of the other ones are. But basically, what makes them legendary is that they are. Let's see if I can get it close enough here. The second effect here. Tomes of the Great Library cannot be discarded from play by opposing cards that specifically discard relics. So like you can't blow it up. It's effectively indestructible. And what is strange about this game, I'll call it strange, I think it's unintuitive, is that there are cards that effectively would make a controller of a relic sacrifice it, to use Magic terms. But those cards in this game don't count, because even though the controller of tomes is the one that would be discarding it, the card that made that effect happen is still an opposing card. This is a classic Secrets of the Book. So it's immune to it. Whereas in Magic, one of the premier ways to get around indestructible is sacrifice effects or exile effects. It seems like the design team is really, really not big on trying to introduce something like an exile zone to the game, which I am all for. Let's not add that. But it just seems like there should be a way to get rid of tomes besides just taking out their magi. But that's probably more of a get good deck building moment on my end than it is a thing with the game. Like, there's not a whole lot of these. It doesn't seem like it's something to be that they're really interested in doing more of. So, there's just gonna be, tomes, and you're gonna have to be able to get around it or play around it some other way. But yeah, so Outlands. I said I've finished designing all of Kaibar's Teeth, trying to take what I've seen as its weaknesses and shore them up. And I'm trying not to crib off of some of the new designs. I really like the newly redesigned Black Agrila in Kaibar's Teeth. I think that's a really novel space for the region to be playing in, and I think that's a good place to try and explore. One of the things that I think the game could use a little bit more of is just some sort of instant speed. Again, to use Magic parlance, I don't think there should be a lot of it. I definitely don't think there should be as much of it as there is in Magic, but I think that especially some of the regions that are lacking in either an identity or are just kind of underpowered, might be able to expand into that sort of effect where they can activate or be played on your opponent's turn in response to the opponent satisfying a trigger. So kind of like a trap card, I guess, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, speaking of legendary relics, here's Gate to Ombor. So I didn't put Black Agrila into Outlands, but I think I have an uncommon who kind of functions in that same space. And another thing that like I will really help Kaibar's Teeth is if it could get some access to more Warrior's Boots style effects, like basically haste for its creatures. So I experiment with a couple of, excuse me, got the hiccups. A couple of ways to try to get Kaibar's Teeth playing a creature and attacking with it that turn. I fully admit that I'm not a MagiNation designer. I'm not even good at the game. So some of those designs I'm sure are, not quite bad, or at the very least way over or under tuned for what they do. Hey, Ninabomb. He's just a whole guy. Crystal Shield. Alrighty, we're nearing the end here. We've got, let's see, 5 left. Get that out of here. But be sure to save it because it does have. Oop, can't get close enough to the screen. There it is. It's important. Oh, and also, very important, no Weebos were harmed in the making of this product. Very important. We gotta watch out for our Weebos. Alrighty. Last 5. Dink. Getting through them. But it is fun to try and design, find the overlap, and I don't know, like just designing cards is kind of a passion of mine. I've made many at this point, custom Magic sets. Core thing got a little nicked up here somehow. Put them right here. Come on, there it is. Yeah, see, a little nicked up. And to do that, you kind of need to decide, what is in color pie for these regions. And so, of course, any sort of custom design is going to have its designer's bias on there. But I need to decide what region I want to do next. There's just sometimes I'll like sit down and just knock out like all the commons in one day. And then come back to it later and do the other stuff. Like I'm going to do all of the uncommon or all of the gold cards, and then we'll go from there. Because I think it does help to know what your color pairs are trying to do as you fill in the gaps in the rest of the set. Now, obviously, you can't just copy paste your design skeletons from Magic sets into MagiNation. They're very different games. But I think a lot of it transfers. The idea that, your theme should be visible at common, I think is a good one. And there should be certain roles that are present at every rarity and every color. So like there should be some sort of removal at common in every color that just lets them deal with something. And I've got a duplicate now of, that's our first duplicate Hiron. We've got 2 Ulks, 2 Korganzets, I think 2 Golthubs. Let's see here. Alright, second to last pack. Glaft, Anger Swarm, Severos, Dream Rift, Ghost Wisp, Crystal Parmala, Crystal Twinklet. Is that foil? It is. Nice. Yayek. Bah. Blight. So sad they took his title off of his actual nameplate, but I get why they did it. Again, just kind of moving to standardized stuff. Another Amulet and Tunneler's Boots. Those are also doubles. All right, last pack. Last pack. And then we'll have to wait until, what is it, Hailstorm? I think is the name of the next set when it comes out. Or the next reprint set. Trollbull, Treepsh, Maelstrom, Parmalag, Hylofuff, Moob, the Real Quaid, Loof, Trogovo, Trigar, and Zet. All right, very nice. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure on what the card list is. But if this is anything like Wildlands, there should be at least one of every rare in these stacks. And interesting on the regional distribution. Let's see. So that's underneath. Let's see if I can get them all stacked up next to each other. It's core. There are noticeably more Bograth cards than either of the other two regions. So let's see. Here's Bograth. Here's core. Get them next to each other, and then underneath. So yeah, interesting. I feel like Wildlands was pretty evenly distributed, but that could also just be the randomness of the prints. Slightly more underneath rares. You can see the foils. You can pick the foils out because they don't have the black core. I think is why that is. Let's see. Come here. There you are. Yeah, so that you can flip right to them. But it's just a reminder, folks, to sleeve your cards. Sleeve your cards when you play with them. Respect them. You put your hard-earned money into the game. You should protect your cards. But yeah, that will wrap up this box break for me here. I'll just get them all in here. Thank you so much for watching, hanging out while I ramble about this game that I love so much. And I hope to be back with more product as it becomes available. But until then, just hang in there for everyone who's a MagiNation fan, and keep fighting the good fight. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye now.